Welcome back to Main Street Living. Now, it's been a big question mark regarding if high school football returns this fall. And in fact, some schools are playing while others aren't. And you can even see some of those games right here on YurView's Game Time. Joining us today to talk a little bit about that is Chris Ackerknecht and also Rod Thompson. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Doing good. Doing very well.
Good. Now, Chris, I understand you are the manager for YurView's live events, and with sports coming back, we can watch some high school games and rivalry games on YurView's Game Time. But what has happened so far this season and what's coming up?
Well, so far, normally we would have a 75 game schedule in place. The world has seen through COVID how that has changed and evolved throughout the course of the summer. Our weekly meetings every week has been, are we playing? Who's playing? What's it look like in your market? So instead of a normal 75 game schedule in place right now, that would include Louisiana, Tulsa, Omaha, Oklahoma City, Phoenix, some games in New England, some games in Vegas and California. Right now, we're looking at about a 30 game schedule that's confirmed. We're starting late in Phoenix and we're starting late in Louisiana, the first week in October. So we had week one last week that Rod was part of. So that's been the big challenge is, how are these school districts dealing with COVID, and are they playing, aren't they playing, and how are they keeping kids and fans and coaches and everyone safe?
And that's the interesting part about all this, because there's so many moving parts. You're talking, production crew, you're talking players. And Rod, you're Game Time's analyst there on YurView.com. And of course, we're all excited to see sports come back. But I know there's some real concerns about safety for the players as well as the production folks. What changes have been made?
Yeah, a lot of changes. I mean, of course, we did the game from the studio. Being separated 6 feet apart in the studio with masks on to make sure everybody's safety is intact. And, of course, doing it not there at the field. But I mean, I think in our area, one of the things that we've been looking at that's going to be interesting down the road is we've already had a couple of games here. Schools have canceled games because, and they're trying to figure out how to navigate through this with having one kid on the field, one kid on the team that plays and after a game tests positive. And so right now, some key matchup games, thankfully not our games. Good job, Chris and guys picking games, but they've had a couple of marquee games that's going to be in week one. Last week was 0 week that have been canceled. And also that those teams are going to be canceled for 2 weeks. So 2 games that are pretty, week 1 or week 2 of your matchup games. So that is something that is a concern that everybody is looking at from a revenue-based standpoint. Is something to look at. But on our end, just a little different and making the adjustment, doing the game with the mask. But we understand that it has to be done.
And one thing, Quincy, to understand with our production model is the shows that Rod calls, they're called remote or REMI models. Being the games are, the production crew is in a control room in Kansas City, Missouri, and Rod and his whoever we partner with that week, they're in a remote facility. They can be typically now they're in a Cox building. They're not in the stadium at large. So the advantage it gives us is they're not crammed. We're able to social distance these folks. They're not crammed into a press box with 1,000 people. It's almost impossible, even in a college press box, to keep people.
Yeah, and I can imagine how that just kind of changes, the entire dynamic of just the experience, the live experience. But Chris, what are some of the ways that the fans can watch the games? Are there any options here?
Yeah, well, if you're a Cox customer, we have games on Friday night. So if you want to watch on your linear channel, you can find a game every Friday night. We also replay games on Tuesday night. If you're not a Cox customer and and also if you want to watch on your phone or your laptop computer, you can download the Contour app. And watch games live through the Contour app. If you're not a Cox customer, we direct people to watch.yourview.com, and we have a subscription service for folks to watch any and all of our games. You can watch them on replay. You can order a download. So we have an app in development right now. So you'll be able to watch our games on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire. So that's coming down the pike shortly. It's still in development. We've been working with Vimeo on this device. So it's exciting for Rod, I'm sure, as well, to have his work seen, through all these devices. So.
Well, fellas, I mean, it is so good to, just hear and understand that sports is making a comeback the safest way that it can. And so we certainly appreciate you guys bringing it to us live. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Quincy.